they say, girls, we got some news. You've got to move into the hotel across the road from the volleyball because you can't get out on the morning. We're like, what?
Wow. And it become a bit of a habit too in the nunnery. Sorry, no, that's not
exactly. Yeah. So we had to uproot everything out of our room. We had to make a hotel room look like home. Which we did, right? We just knew that we had one purpose and one focus to win a gold medal. So the night before, there was no sleep happening. I'm actually laying in bed and reciting my winning speech, right? So
right.
I'm like, this is that whole what if. What if we win? I don't want to be fumbling or mumbling, or I want to know who I've got to thank. So I was reciting my speech. I wasn't thinking about volleyball. I was reciting my speech.
Which is a good thing sometimes, isn't it?
Absolutely. And the coach, we'd gone through the game plan. We knew what we had to do was whether we could hold that, remembering 4 years earlier the capitulation, right? So there's all of that going on. And the more they tell you, try not to think about it, the more you think about it. So we wake up in the hotel. We're kind of corralled because of security in a little breakfast room. We eat our breakfast. And then when we're marshalled for the game start time was 2:30. And we would go out at 12 to the court and get our preparation done. And we would come into the stadium under a tunnel. The tunnel's under the Bondi Pavilion.
Wow.
It was like Secret Service stuff, right? Like the rock stars coming into the singing, what's it called? The concert.
The concert, yeah.
Yeah. But we're in a bikini. We got a little backpack on, and we come under the stand, and the crowd is rocking. This is about 12 minutes to go because they don't want you out there too early for TV. So all the preparation happens out the back with no one watching. Come under the stadium's rocking, there's sand falling down on you because they don't know you're under there, right? So, and they announce, please make welcome from Australia, Natalie Cook and Kerry Potthast. And out we go. And of course, 10,000 screaming Aussies with probably 5 Brazilian fans. The famous Aussie chant goes up. You're in this like well of energy and excitement. And then at the same time, nervous as all hell, shaking until the first ball, the whistle blows, the first ball served, and it hits your arms and you're like, okay, now we're here, it's game on. And there were a few points that were pivotal, crucial points. They had a rule change 6 months earlier that said, if the ball hits the net on the serve, normally it's a fault, and they swapped servers. But 6 months earlier, they said if the ball hits the net on a serve, it counts. So if it dribbles over, then it's a point. And somebody had said at breakfast a few months earlier, oh, imagine if the Olympic gold medal was decided by the dribble. And so I'm back there to serve. First is set point in the first set, and the ball hits the top of the net, and you're just waiting like it's like deathly silent for the ball, and the ball drops over on Brazil's side for the point for the first set.
Wow.
Winner.
Oh, no.
So we're like, God's on our side, the nuns are praying.
So the nuns, go the nuns.
Yeah.
Go the nuns. Yeah. And then the second set, the Brazilians were ahead most of the time. Again, they were very much more skillful players than us. They're technically superior. They were just great athletes, but they were afraid to win and they were afraid to lose. So it was amazing to watch.
What's the crowd? What was the crowd? How many people are there cheering at the time?
10,000. 10,000. Our biggest crowd we'd ever seen to date, and probably still the biggest because Copacabana Beach last Olympics, they'd actually cut out some of the stand. I think it was 8,000 when it was supposed to be a bit bigger, but it's one of our biggest crowds we've ever seen. And Bondi Dave, if you remember, was revving up the crowd. The wave was going on.
It's prime time TV. It was prime time, wasn't it? It was just, that was what you were watching.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say, Nat. Like my recollections of the beach volleyball got cult status through the Olympics, with what you guys were wearing, out on the beach, the music, just
what do you mean what they were wearing, Blakey?
Well, they were wearing bikinis, mate.
Absolutely. And we always said, we're okay for people to come to the beach to watch the bikinis, but they leave going, that is an impressive, dynamic, physical sport, and they love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is the part where we made Kathy famous because it was epic, but it was on the same day as Kathy's race. So for 4 hours that afternoon, we were the highlight until 8 o'clock, September 25th. Kathy Freeman's taken the track.
Wow.
And
about
she
that.
wins the gold medal. And we won the 99th gold medal for Australia, making Kathy the ideal, perfect fairy tale of the 100th Olympic gold medal for Australia. So without us, she would have had 99. It would have been very average.
Did you guys go? Did you go to that?
Ironically, I'd bought 2 tickets. In my plan a few years earlier, I always, at every Olympics, I go, which event do I want to see personally to give me a bit of inspiration? And I pick a swimming one and then a track and field and maybe a bit of basketball. And I had tickets, but of course I couldn't make it. So I had these tickets in my bag. And after we win, you've got drug testing and you've got press and, it all went pear-shaped. Roy and HG and dancing on bars with our bikinis on the outside of our jeans and pouring beers. And I said to these 2 randoms on the side of the street, do you want to go to Kathy Freeman? Here's 2 tickets. It was like $1,000 worth of tickets. Off they go. So I gave my tickets away to Kathy Freeman.
Yeah, you did. Hey, Nat, let's just go back a fraction. Just talk us through, I'm actually 2 questions. Talk us through the moment you won the gold medal and then just talk us through how it felt standing on the dais listening to the national anthem.
Well, like I said, we were behind in every set. So we'd won the first set, we'd come back, my serve hit the net, dropped over. The second set, we're down 11-8 in a game to 12.
Yeah.
And next, if they get to 12, they win the set and it goes to decider. Well, we just dug in, and Kerry is back on the line. They're calling timeouts as it gets closer, and we're just sort of looking at each other. I'm pumping my fist. I'm like, this is it. We've got to take it now. Because if you give these great teams a gap, they'll go in there and the story would have been we got so close and they take it off you. You see it happen with Federer and Novak and you see it in golf as well. So I just said, we've got to take it right now. I said, Kez, go back there and just deliver. She was the best server in the world, but she was either going to cause an ace or she was going to hit me in the back of the head or hit someone in the stands, right? That's how. And I'm standing at the net. I'm bent over. I've got my special signals at the back of my bum. I'm telling her what to do with a serve, which is basically what I call the firecracker. Like I'm saying, just blast it. And I've got my shoulders up around my ears in case she hits me in the back of the head. And she served this amazing ball for an ace to get us to match point. Then she serves another one that puts them under pressure. The ball goes up really close to the net. I'm blocking at this stage. So I'm jumping and trying to swat the ball and I miss it because it just goes over the top of me and I can feel it, every inch of sand, and I can feel that it's out. But I turn around and Kerry's running for this ball. Now, Kerry never runs for the ball because she prides herself in never running, never diving. She actually hates sand. And she would say, I read the play really well, and if I'm not there, it's just because I haven't read it. So I turn around and she's running, and I'm like, stop running, it's out, don't, leave it. I'm yelling at her, but you can't hear anything. She's running, she sticks her arm out to dig the ball, and I'm like, no! And she pulls her arm back, and the ball lands out by like a centimetre, and we are waiting for the lines judge to stick the flag in the air, which means the ball's out.
Yeah.
That happens. We then look to the main referee to see her cross her arms, which means game's over, because you've got to wait for all that to happen. And then when that happens, and it's a split second, Kerry collapses to the ground. I fall on top of her. She's saying, I can't believe it, I can't believe it. I'm going, of course you can, you silly woman. We've been talking about this for the last freaking 8 years.
How good's that?
And then it's like, get me the microphone because I got this speech to do.
Yeah, it's really good speech. I've got it nailed.
Yeah.
Which usually doesn't happen. They don't give the microphone out, and it's probably why, because I took it for a long time, and then they rush you off to get ready to go on the podium. Yeah. Which is the greatest photo I've got outside my wedding photo, except I had hat hair. I had horrible hair, and Deborah Hutton was there, and she leant over and threw me a hairbrush and said, "Fix yourself up, love." Right?
Wow.
And so we get up behind the podium and you're just standing there waiting for them to, first of all, they announce it in French. And then they say, the winner of the Olympic gold medal from Australia, Natalie Cook and Kerry Potter. And then...
Did they say you first? They said you first, didn't they?
Of course. In my head, they did. On my day, they said me first. I don't actually know what bloody happened, but on my day...
On Kerry's day, they say Kerry first.
Yeah.
So,
and
wow.
It's just, just the most amazing time of my life.
And what was the gold medal? It's gold and everything, isn't it? Just a touch, it would have been enough, but to actually say that's mine, I own that. So
yeah,
cool.
I actually don't know if they put it around your neck, you get a boxing kangaroo, you've got flowers. I don't know if I touched it for a while. It just hung there, right? Like proud as punch, your shoulders are back. The crying didn't come till sort of later that day or later that night because you're so euphoric and the adrenaline's running, but not until you kind of drop your head and you pick up the medal and you look at it and you go like just fairy tale, not only for me but for everyone that was a part of it, friends, family.
Wow. Did you have a time? Did you have a time where, you hear the cricketers, they win a test match and they go and sit in the middle of the oval at midnight? Did you guys have a time, you and Kerry, where you just sat down somewhere and just went, wow?
It was such a whirlwind after that, not really, because we were, like I said, Roy and HG and press, and we had a media liaison assigned to us to make sure we got out of bed for the morning shows, and because there's no sleeping going on.
Well, that wow thing's overrated, sitting in the middle of the ground with the teammates. You're better off getting out and partying anyway.
Yeah. No, but what we do now is September 25th, every single year. Kerry does go to Bondi. She lives in Sydney. She'll drive to Bondi. She'll take the champagne. I go as often as I can. It's our 20-year anniversary this year, and it was absolutely planned to have a big party there, which, of course, now with COVID, it'll be a little bit smaller. But we'll go and we'll celebrate. We'll sit in the spot and we'll just recollect of how amazing we were and how great it was.
It was so cool. That is such a great story, Blake, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, look, it's fantastic.